Hi guys, let's make Atama soup. Atama soup is originated from the Efik people of the Cross River State, and there is another type of Atama soup. That one is made with banga oil, and it is originated from the Urubo people, but this particular one I'm showing you is originated from the Efiks. So this is what the Atama leaf looks like. You can also get the cut one from the market, but if you're making for a very large number of people, you have to buy a bunch. So we are going to select it, and this is our water leaf. We already know how that looks. We'll just take out all the pink flowers and all. So after cutting off my atama from the stem, we're not going to wash it. We're going to first cut it just as you're seeing in the video. This is not like afang. Afang requires skill to cut. But for the atama, all you need to do is just make sure you cut it into very tiny bits like this. And this is how it should look after the whole cutting process. So just like the afang, we would pound. Please avoid blender when you're making this kind of soups. Please don't use blender. Use your mortar and your pestle and pound. We are going to pound it till it gets very dark. It doesn't have to get silky like the afang. The afang got very silky and was gumming together. So after pounding it, we are going to arrange our sieve. This sieve we are going to use it to wash the atama. So you use your cheesecloth and your sieve. So you're going to tie it just like you're seeing. My mom is helping me to tie the cheesecloth to the sieve. So the middle part is where you're going to add the atama. So we'll wash it and it will drain so we don't lose our atama leaves. So after pounding your atama, you're going to boil very hot water and pour it inside the atama. This will help to release every dirt that was in the atama. It will release it from the atama leaves and also help you to easily wash out all this slime. And also note that atama is bitter when it's not washed. So we are going to wash it till we get out like 90% of the bitterness and the slime. So I'm just using a spoon to just mix everything together so all the leaves will mix inside the hot water. I'm going to leave it there for 5 minutes before I now introduce it to the sieve. Introducing it to the sieve, I'll just let it sit there till it gets cold a bit. So we are going to proceed to cooking our meat. I'm using goat meat, pomo, stockfish, and then I went in with some blended peppers and seasoning. The water I added to the pot is I rinsed off my blender, the blender I use in blending my peppers, and added it there. So I'm going to cover that meat and allow it to cook. Going back to our tama, you can see that as I allowed it to sit, the slime is draining out. So what we are going to do is we're just going to be introducing water into the atama leaves, and then you're going to use your spatula or your hand to just touch the corners. As you're moving them from side to side, the slime is going out. The cloth is a mesh, so as you're doing this movement, the slime is going out from the sieve. So you're going to continue this process. As you're doing this, you will notice that your atama is reducing in size, right? The reason why that is because all this slime is like they're leaving the atama. So you know that you're on your way to greatness. So this is the point where the slime stopped coming out. You can see the water is almost clean. So you're going to now taste it. So I took out some to taste and it wasn't bitter anymore. So you're going to just take it out like this and squeeze out the remaining water and set aside. Going back to our meat is ready. So I'm just going to go in with some salt, mix that in, and then go in with our water leaf. Remember how we washed our water leaf for the afang, right? You still do the same process. And then I'm going to go in with my other ingredients like my pepper, my crayfish, also in very generous amounts. Seasoning cubes, going with your fish, going with every side, dish that you have, then going with palm oil, just like the afang. Atama also needs generous amounts of palm oil. So after putting in all your ingredients, your fish, your pepper, seasoning, and everything, just stir in everything. mixed together. So also note that I didn't add any extra water. Remember, your water leaf will release the water that you need to make your soup. So all you just need to do is just mix everything, cover it, and allow it to come to a very good boil. So after squeezing out the water from the atama, this is how my atama looked. So when your water leaf comes to a boil, this is how it should look. So you're not going to introduce your atama inside the pot. Now, unlike the afang, once we put the afang inside the pot, we are going to put off our gas, right? So this is not the same thing. You're just going to stir in while it is still bubbling. You're going to stir in the atama and allow it to cook for 2 to 3 minutes before you put off your gas, right? So this is different. The steps to make it is almost the same. End product is different. So just stir that in very well. Then allow it to cook for 2 to 3 minutes. And then your atama soup is ready. This process to make the atama soup is very long, but the end product is worth it because this soup is absolutely delicious. Ask me questions.